Hello and welcome to the platform. We have returned again with yet another 4 bright participants who are doing exceptionally well in their respective industry. They join us with our breakfast champion for the day, which is of course Mr. Nathi Dlamini, who is the CEO of Business Eswatini and sits across multiple boards as a board member here in Eswatini. First, let's check out what our participants are about, who they are, what businesses they do, where they're from, and what they are bringing to today's show.
Hello, my name is Msutfu Kambule and I am from Manzini, Eswatini.
Hi, my name is Wezizwe Kininza Albany. I am from Babane, Eswatini.
Hello, my name is Nduruzolo Sandamgadi. I am from Stratcom Media, a digital and AI marketing company.
Hi guys, my name is Ndumi Mtetwa. I am the owner of Egupoleni Garden Villas and Buzobo Restaurant.
I am currently in the feedlot business and I see myself, or I could say I'm an agricultural entrepreneur.
I am an entrepreneur. I am the founder and director of My Quails.
I chose this career path because I have a love for people. I love to cook.
I chose that career path because of the need that it provides within the community and also the job opportunities that it creates for people in the agricultural space.
I would say that the career path chose me. Starting My Quails was rooted in, it was a passion-driven project. It was a passion-driven business. But more than anything, it was to bring a different approach to natural hair care. Not just having the products themselves, but embedding different aspects on what really goes into natural hair care, from the knowledge, the education, the community around that.
I didn't choose it. It fell on my lap because I think it was a transformation that was happening globally and I chose to jump on it. I am actually a wealth management practitioner.
Some of my career highlights and achievements would be the opportunity to provide a service that is rare and different for some people. Coming into a space where you feel acknowledged and happy and you're able to see people smile, that gives me joy, especially when it comes to the industry that I'm in currently.
With investment advisors, I grew a fund by over 21% in 2 years.
I think one of my career highlights so far is creating employment for people who just graduated and giving out internships. I feel like for me, I never had that opportunity, so giving that out to other people has been great.
I would also say that the biggest highlight was winning the Eswatini Consumer Choice Award last year. I do believe that that set a different tone for the business. It set a different tone for us, me as well as the business owner coming into 2025. And it was also, I think, an assurance that we're on the right track and it's an opportunity for growth as well.
I want to meet Nathi Dlamini because I feel like I'm a younger version of him. I feel like there's a lot of things that I would learn from him in the sense that I'm in the same space as just being an entrepreneur. And I think someone who travels, I think he's been to Taiwan and I lived in Taiwan, so it's going to be an interesting conversation.
I want to meet Nathi, CEO of Business Eswatini, mostly because he's a prominent figure, not just only in corporate, but also in business. And I think there's a lot of knowledge that I can draw from him.
I want to meet Nathi because he is the CEO at Business Eswatini and he has helped so many businesses grow in terms of his strategies. And so he's got exceptional leadership insights that I believe I can draw inspiration from.
I want to meet Nathi because he is such an influential person, and I think that as a young entrepreneur who is currently building myself, I would love to learn 1 or 2 things from him on how to manage and be successful in my business career.
And with that said, we would like to officially welcome you back to the platform. Today, we are joined again by young participants who are eager, to learn, and they will be getting insights from our champion of the day, who you know in Eswatini, which is of course Mr. Nathi Dlamini, who is the CEO of Business Eswatini. I'd just like to officially welcome you, sir, to the show, and thank you so much
for making your time to, share your insights and, of course, insights on business in the Kingdom of Eswatini. Before we start our mentorship session or our conversation, we do have some icebreaker questions that are right in front of you. They have nothing to do with the very in-depth conversation that we're going to have. So please do pick 3 from the glass bowl in front of you and then read them out loud and answer the question, please.
I thought that was just trash. I almost threw it away. I thought, who put this trash? Okay, for icebreaker question number 1 says, what is something new that you've learned about yourself in the past 3 months? About you?
Yeah.
Okay. One thing I've learned in the past 3 months, in fact, actually, it's so embarrassing because it's not quite inspiring. It's my ability as a leader, firstly, to control my feelings and even temper.
Yeah.
And it is something I've begun to work on about personal restraint.
Yeah.
And you may argue that at your age you should have learned that a long time ago. But life doesn't work like that. New discoveries I'm about to make are always about myself going forward. And they will call that I do make certain changes somewhere. And I will tell you why as we begin this conversation going forward later.
Okay. So you can go for your next one. We're doing 3.
Oh.
Yes.
All right. This one says, given a chance to buy a musical instrument, would you opt for a piano or a guitar? I'll opt for both. Or did you knew that I'm a musician?
I knew, but no one wrote the question.
Okay, I'll go for piano.
Yes.
Yeah. But both instruments I have in my house, I play them periodically as I write music.
Okay. And the last one.
The last one. If you could eliminate one food so no one could eat it ever again, what would you destroy? One food?
Yes. Everyone.
If you could eliminate one food so no one could eat it ever again, what would you destroy? I don't know. Food. Because I'm a voracious eater. I eat everything like a pig anyway. I like everything except gusha that I don't like. Yeah, but it's good for you though. It's good for you.
Yeah.
But I detest that thing. By the way, it's loaded with zinc and everything like that. But I just hate it.
Okay.
I don't see what's the point of it.
I think that would cause conflict with so many people here in Eswatini. But
no, but I did say it's healthy and it's packed with zinc. So to the listeners, please continue eating it voraciously. It's good for you. But I'm not going to join you.
And just to start off our conversation, Mr. Dlamini, as a CEO of Business Eswatini and a board member of several organizations like the ENPF, while also being a dedicated family man, how do you balance these roles and what can young people learn from that approach?
First of all, it's not quite easy, but it becomes easier if you know what's important to you. I will tell you all 3 things that you've just mentioned are important, very important to me.
Yeah.
But the most important one is family. Because that's where I get my grounding from, my inspiration. I'm able to perform above average outside because I come from a stable environment and a loving environment that feeds me. So I ensure that I invested a lot of time with my family. For instance, as you will all well aware, I wake up at 4 a.m. And 4:30, I take my wife for a walk 5 days a week. And as we're walking, we're talking to each other and resolving problems. But we are together talking family issues. And it's really the only time quality time that we can spend together between 4:30 and the time I leave for work. in the evening, they come back, we are very, very fatigued. So there's just limited time on that.
My question would be, seeing as you're in the business and leadership space, you work with so many different companies, so many different companies are under your membership. I'd like to know, because you're in sort of like the forefront of how the job market is currently looking like. So I'd just like to know what you'd say to young people, to us young people, in terms of the careers that we should consider for the job market.
Okay, first of all, I think we are all well aware of the rapidity of change that's taking place outside, especially in the employment market. That traditional sectors have transformed themselves, largely driven by developments in technology and certainly artificial intelligence and robotics. It's just changing the entire space. And if I were to ask you today, what is it on the macro environment that you see that is really speedily changing in your estimation? You will realize that technology is disrupting everything. The syllabus on which the market was based on is almost totally useless. That's why you have a lot of graduates walking the streets, and you're asking me, representing, by the way, the whole private sector, which over 90% of the private sector GDP of this country comes from our members, which means it's big and very, very wide. And then you ask me, why aren't they hiring them? And I will tell you why, and it will answer your question. It's because what you were taught is no longer relevant in the grand scheme of things. And then you ask me, but how do we tell them, where should our young people, what should they study? I would say, if you want to succeed, anything that's got to do with technology, artificial intelligence and robotics, computer science, code writing, anything that's got to do with that environment, I would go into it full force, because the world is moving so fast towards those skills. Are we going to need social scientists? If we do, we're going to need a small amount. Are we going to need lawyers? If it is very, very small, because artificial intelligence is able now to decode the law and run through variables. So, right now, you can go artificial intelligence Africa. And I saw this example, by the way, in Taipei. I felt sick, and I remember this guy said, the headache that causing possibilities, and just giving, say, check this, check that, check that. And also I can be doctor too with that. I can be doctor. So now imagine if technology is telling the doctor what to do. Very, very, very soon, I will be able to diagnose complicated ailments that we have. And if you took, or rather took that as your major, somehow you find yourself involved in the entire conversation of change. That's what I would tell to young people. Even accounting, by the way, it tells you what to amortize, what to add, what to deduct, how to plan your tax scenario. And here you are, you've been studying accountancy for the past 7 years, and your parents have spent so much money, put them in debt, and then you're busy walking the streets, throwing stones at us.
And we also are joined by Msuch. I think he'll get into what he has to us today, and then we'll continue our conversation with our other participants.
So since you talked about change, change comes with a huge mismatch between the skills and the skills available. So how does business Eswatini assist the government and the environment to handle such a challenge?
First of all, by the way, this is a big, big, big question, and one that happens to be quite topical right now in this country. Because what you have just asked, it's something that this country is being confronted by. How do we, because in studies and after study has just revealed, there is a huge mismatch in the skills and talent pool and what industry needs in order to succeed. So you have this schism. Here are educated people who happen to be totally not useless, but not useful to addressing the economic challenges of the country. And here are employers who are saying, I want talent. Where do I get them? You've seen a situation where now companies are starting to look for talent outside the country.
Yes.
And you look for talent outside the country, you need a work permit for that talent. And then the government says, no, I'm not going to give you a work permit. Yes, because I've got someone who's got a master's in, I don't know, social science, and you are bringing someone with a diploma, but who is highly technically skilled. The question is, guys, what do you do? It's a serious quagmire in which we find ourselves today. And then you find some employers who say, okay, we will just take them and train them ourselves, which means now companies are spending more money in training them as well to qualify. And it's expensive for companies. And companies are saying, government, can you help us here so that we can take more and train? And we say, then the government will ask, how? And we say, please, can you treat this as an expense to us as a company? And therefore, we can put it, subtracting up, we call P&L, profit and loss account. Profit and loss account reduces your, if you made 1,000 rand in expenses for training is 200, so 800, that's what you pay tax on, 800. That conversation is ongoing right now. Basically asking government to incentivize the private sector in order to create job employment. We've also reached out to the labor unions themselves and say, us as employers, you as worker representatives, let's join forces how we create space on the shop floor to create space for other new entrants. You can do it. If your people want to work part-time, for instance, that creates another part-time job for somebody out there. You're bringing more volumes in, and we'll be meeting again with the union. By the way, it's for us, it's not usual where we sit with unions and talk this language, but they have grown also to that level of engagement. So we're thankful. Not all is lost.
Well, thank you so much for that wise information you just gave us. I mean, you touched strongly on the employment sector and, you know, having degrees, and we find that our youth are not employed, or they have the degrees, but their degrees are sitting at home and they're not being used. You know, I also had a case of that. You have your master's degree, but you get to somewhere and you're just trying to apply, but it's like you're not getting the job opportunities. So in a situation like that, how do you think that Swaziland or the young people in Eswatini can navigate this challenge without prior experience of maybe going to the job space and having the experience of actually working?
Okay, that's a very, very tricky one, because there is no one-size-fits-all and a direct answer. But I will share with you one young person who's also so frustrated because they did marketing school. And I told them, why are you going to this? I mean, but you know, that's what they did. And frustration in the qualifications. So just recently, by the way, then I said to him, it was an inspired thought on my part, because it was a weekend. I said, why don't you just go to one of the companies or go to spa shop, look at the products, see what's wrong with one of them, either the pricing of it or the positioning of it. I even made a point that some of these products, they put it up, way up there, which means people who are shopping don't get to see it. And then after doing that, can you just write a short proposal to the company that you say, I went to spa, the pricing of your product, I don't think is in line with the market. The positioning in all the shops, they put it up there, and I propose that you put it at eye level. Can you also do that? You put it maybe at the front. I said, just take an interest and then give it to them. Most companies, you do a proposal about them. They'll say, come here, what are you trying to say? You say, this is what I'm saying about product positioning, distribution. Your distribution network ends here. That's how nowadays you get a job. You prove your value to those companies.
Thank you for that. I'd like to take you just a bit back. You were speaking about the mismatch between the skills and the talent pool, especially when you're coming out of university. And I agree with you, having a master's as well in social science, you then get into the job market and you're then searching, you find yourself that, okay, maybe I spent too much time studying something that is probably not relevant. And so what we then see, because of that mismatch, we find young people turning to business, self-help projects, entrepreneurship, right? And so I want to hear your perspective on how basically entrepreneurship can, or young people can, solve this problem that we have in terms of the unemployment rate that we have in Eswatini. Is entrepreneurship a solution? Is turning to business actually a solution? What are your views on that?
You know, this is a very, very important question that we have asked, because it speaks to the mindset that we need to have now as a country going forward. And if you touch on issues of entrepreneurship, unfortunately, our syllabus in school at universities here was predominantly predicated on creating good civil servants. That's what we are producing, good civil servants. And they never taught us to think for ourselves. And they also do appreciate this in our culture. We don't come from a very strong culture of trade and being merchants as people, because we come from a background of hunter-gatherer situation, not merchanting. I go ask for something. If the other cultures, you need salt for the night harvest more, they'd say, okay, that's 15 cents. They take. With us, say, can you give it to me? I'll give you back. That's a whole change. And now we find ourselves at a crossroads where the situation is demanding that we change how we think. We produce people who will help themselves. That means entrepreneurs who will start their own businesses, support themselves. We're looking at more technical skills. There's something called now TVET training, education, technical skills and stuff like that. Why all of a sudden that's trending so much? Because they know that if you look at the other courses I was talking about here, I don't know what they call them, those
Traditional.
Traditional, yeah, they are called traditional. There's no room for them. We need technical skills. I need artisans, electricians of note who can fix, plumbers, road construction people, people who do things that with their hands that we can see. And yet we don't have the competent institutions to provide that. But entrepreneurship, that's where I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt, that's where our future lies. The question is, do we have the processes in place to expedite this whole new movement of entrepreneurs, because they have unique needs. For instance, it's a risky business that they're coming in. The risk of failure, by the way, in starting a business, very high, I can tell you that now. Yeah, if there are 10 people starting a business, okay, I wonder which 2 will survive in the next 2 years, because 8 will fail. Now the question is, those who fail, after failing, what is it that they do? Do they get up again and try again? Do they get up again? Because you will know that there's a litany of stories around the world. People, most of the successful businesses we have today, they failed dismally when they started. But who will provide the support and wherewithal for you when you fail to say, it's time now to get up, this is how I will help you? And you'll find that, no, you don't have too many friends to do that. And you will discover that the world owes you nothing, despite how much you're trying. Please, you guys, you have to accept that, because sometimes we go around as if people owe us something. Until you fail, you realize that even the friends that you had, they're not really so close to you. Because we cannot assume because you are carrying these burdens, everybody is not carrying their own burdens. I will tell you, each and every business person, in Matsapa, all of them, they're carrying a big cross, only that you don't see. Their own challenges. So you cannot just say, you help me. And he says, but who's going to help me? That's when governments come in to say, okay, I'm introducing this policy of support. This is what's going to happen to entrepreneurs. This is how I will manage access to this and that for you. I think I've already spoken too long, isn't it? Now I'm conscious about the time. You shouldn't have told me now.
Because the conversation could go on and on. I mean, you're speaking to what has been asked, and I think there's so much that you can share. But in the interest of time, we will be taking a short commercial break. When we return, we just talk about the principles of leadership and how young people can lead in Eswatini. But that is only when we return.
This opportunity will help me advance in the way of just perspective, like learning different perspective of how entrepreneurs move about challenges will always help your own road.
I like spending time in solitude.
From everything that I'm going to get today, I believe it's going to be strategies that are going to help me also manage Stratcom well, and also just leverage on public and private partnership or collaborations that could take Stratcom to greater heights.
I think for me, the pausing part is very important. Taking walks around the garden, watching a good movie, catching up on family and friends. I think for me, that is the biggest thing I like to do during my spare time.
During my spare time, I like music and food. So that's what I dabble into outside of working hours.
If I do have a moment, I am either learning or sleeping. So it's either, if I'm not working, I'm literally learning. So yeah.
I think young people in Eswatini are ready for growth. They're ready for change. And I'm speaking specifically when it comes to business, because that's the space that I'm in.
So I do think that we're getting to a point where people are getting up and realizing their passions and are going for what they really want.
If you just joined us, welcome back to the platform. Today, we are joined by the CEO of Business Eswatini, Mr. Nathi Dlamini, and he is our champion for the day, mentoring our participants. But Nkosi, we're getting deeper into the conversation now. Can we talk about running an organization? I did mention before the ad break that we'll be talking about leadership. You've been a leader. We've seen you lead. I mean, can you talk about some of the key principles of good leadership? Because I do believe that, well, I'm not in your company, but I believe that you are a good leader.
Oh, that's very nice.
And can you talk about good leadership and what you would recommend to a young person? Because all of these young people sitting with us today are leaders, and sometimes opportunities come where maybe you're leading an older person than you, but what are some of the principles that they can carry to ensure that they carry balance throughout when it comes to leadership?
First of all, thank you very much for that question of leadership. And I'll share with you guys things you will not find in a textbook. And I'm sharing, I have lived decades and experience of 40 years in this business. You must first learn how to lead yourself. And by the way, in order to lead yourself, which means you must first learn to know yourself. Now, I remember one, a sage philosopher, I think it was Aristotle. He was asked by a student to say, and he says, "Sire, what's the highest level of enlightenment a man should aspire?" And Aristotle would say, "Know thyself. Know thyself." And I believe that's where it begins. The knowing thyself principle as a leader, for me, began some years ago. That's why I've picked up some of the good traits and the horrible traits, which I'm embarrassed to say, am I like this? You need to introduce yourself to yourself, and you will see the strengths and the areas of weakness. Once you know yourself, you will act in that. I think that's when you are ready to start leading yourself and leading others as well. Because leaders who don't know who they are, where their weaknesses lie, and where their strengths are, they will always give you wrong leadership. And with me, that's how I started. That's how I discovered something. Even my temper, for instance. And sometimes I'm not good at a listener, because someone says something, I can tell you about to talk smack. It's like, let me cut you before you finish your sentence. And the leadership says, please listen, because there might be something there at the end, even if you disagree. And those are the areas, and you keep on growing on that. That's if you can lead yourself successfully. And I believe then that's when you can lead others. But the question is leading them to where? And the question as a leader then is because you know the way to the future. And those who are following you probably don't know. The question, have you been to the future? Which talks about your vision. If not, then you cannot lead anyone. By the way, do you also know the way? If you don't know, you're about to get people lost along the way. Leadership is, that's why you talk about strategy. Board. I've led organizations based on the principle. You say, I think what I see in the future is A, B, C, D, and I come back to tell them, this is what I saw. And together we begin this journey. And it won't be easy. There will be casualties along the way. Some people will get lost. But somehow, if we continue doing it together, we will get there. And for doing so, we'll get rewarded. It's a very hard job, guys, to lead people. And not all of them will be happy the way you lead, your style of leadership. Especially as a leader, if you cannot adapt it to different situations. Some situations are very risky situations. You got to be dictator. And some situations are where you say, can I have your opinion? For instance, if I'm leading somebody and there's a house on fire, and usually me, I use participative style. What's your opinion? When the house is on fire, I don't want your opinion. I will tell you what to do. I will tell you what to do. And I'm holding a big stick too. If you don't do it, I will thrash you. When it's over, it's time to rebuild the house. I'll say, just come to, how do we rebuild this better? How many rooms do we put here? So leadership is also adaptation to different situations. So as a leader, you cannot stick to one style.
I like that. I think the knowing yourself is very critical. We need to be self-aware leaders. I think there's a verse that also speaks to how when there's no vision, the people perish.
Yes.
I think my question would be in terms of mentorship. You do speak so much on knowing yourself, but also as a young leader, I'd like to know, is it really essential to have a mentor? How can I access them? I think it's just that, because in as much as we are trying to be in the self-awareness journey and leading journey, there's also a part where you need someone that will say, no, this is not where you said you want to be. This is not where you said you want to go.
Yeah. Okay. That's a good question. The question is, what kind of mentor are you looking for? And what do you expect from them? And I'm saying this against the backdrop that I have experience in mentoring young people for many years, and I sort of stopped it. One, it's time consuming, even though the job is worthwhile. Secondly is, then there's a dependency syndrome. That while you are mentoring them on business, it gets to their personal issues. I had to be involved in a divorce issue, for instance. That's how I got there. But it's a relationship that starts to this. How do I advise? I know I'm not competent to advise on these issues. But she says, you are my mentor. Here's the thing, and I'll tell it to you as sensitively as I can. Don't expect too much of a hand-holding service from a mentor. It's unfair on them. They are extremely busy. They are leading people. Don't. If you do expect that, after a while, they will sort of gently walk away. I had a mentor when I was growing up, but for years, he did not know it that he was my mentor. Please look at that. There are people, I tell you, this many years in financial institution success, he spoke, articulate, he was smart. He did not know I was modeling my life around that. So I watched from a distance and learned from a distance the decision he was making. And okay, I think he did it for this, and all of that. I modeled my whole youth without being held a hand. Please also pick up someone and study them from a distance. You know, it would be nice one day you meet him for coffee, but I've been watching you. Oh, thank you very much. I hope I'm not disappointing you. But look at mentorship in that way, because there's not too many people who are available to keep on holding people's hands, or 10 of you walking around you, babysitting you. It doesn't work. I wish it worked that way.
No, that was very insightful, sir. I'd like to please touch on a topic that you mentioned earlier about processes and in terms of entrepreneurs. As entrepreneurs, we go quickly into trying to solve a solution, and we forget about the steps to solving that solution. And those steps are in terms of business verifications, having registered businesses, understanding the P's and Q's. Could you please touch on why it's important to be verified when getting into your business and having the paperwork from the get-go?
You must remember that a business has got its own persona as well. It's a legal person, just like me. I've got a name. It's also got a name and a soul, which means it must be valid for it to be recognized. It will open the doors. You go to a bank, you can see your registration certificate, your compliance certificate. What type of a company is it? You've seen companies donating to people, and they make sure that everybody sees when they donate. And you say, why? Giving is supposed to be a private thing. And it says, yeah, when I give personally, it's private. But I have another child whose persona relies that the community sees what it's doing. That's why when I give out, I call the press and say, look at this child. I'm creating a personality around that company. And then most people say, that's a responsible corporate citizen. That's what you do. And whenever there are tenders or jobs to be given, that one is well known because it's a good corporate citizen. But it begins with a basic. You want to register a company, you make sure that its objects are known, they are registered. Now you have a company, it's there. It's probably not even trading on anything yet. But you are the CEO of it, and there is nothing there. That's where it all starts. And it shouldn't alarm you that you have a company, you are the proud CEO of it. And then you begin feeding that child slowly, usually with this milk. And then it starts growing, little tenders there, little products there, and then it grows stronger. All of a sudden you become even proud that you are the CEO, you know. But for now, you have to make it valid. It's very, very important.
Just speaking about side hustles, I think a lot of young people have side hustle or they have some sort of self-help project. But from my understanding, I think to grow to a place where we are entrepreneurs and we are business women or men and are at a place where we're creating employment and kind of solving the issues that we're speaking about earlier, how do we transition from the small businesses that we have to sustainable, medium, large enterprises? What are your insights on just scaling and moving from that position to the next?
I think that question I'll answer it 10 years from now. Once you guys are ready to move to the next level. For now, I want you, I don't know, to think primitively. I know that you have your eye in growing your business to be big. I want you now to start your small business that it's solid and it's able to pay for itself. I want you to start there and get stronger with that. In fact, you will not realize when this thing is growing because it grows so organically and so slowly. It's only after 5 years and say, but you had 2 employees, how come you got 8? And, oh my God, I didn't know that I've grown to that level. Yeah. But start now. I know that the destination is there. I don't want you to keep looking there. Look down because you're going to hit something with your little toe and it's going to hurt you because you were not looking down here. Do that work here, but once in a while, hey, work here, once in a while there, and stuff like that. And once you get to that level, you'll see it naturally growing. And somehow, all these answers you're looking for, they'll start answering themselves. What's next now? The main thing is, for now, you won't be a burden to government as a jobless person. To me, that's a major achievement. And if you hire 2 more, you've taken 2 more people as a burden of government. To me, I told people that every entrepreneur and businessman, I don't care how bad you are here, you will enter heaven because God will ask you, I know you're a terrible person, but who did you inspire and give hope to? Say, but I hired these people, and through my hiring them, I gave them life, hope for the future, for the children. They're able to educate their children. I did that. Okay, you were terrible. Come to the kingdom. Come to that's what business people do for this country. I salute each and every one of them. Say thank you for what you do. The risks that you take with your family to create job opportunity for other people. I honor that and I thank you. And then I say, how can I help you? Because that's what I do, is to advocate for them. I will protect with my life because I can see a lot of people depending on you. And I love it.
Very brilliant one there, Mr. Dlamini. But can we take a short ad break? When we come back, we're getting into our final round of questions and we're wrapping it up. I hope that you have prepared your last and final and most important questions, but that is only when we return. If you just joined us, well, you are joining a very important conversation that we are having amongst entrepreneurs or young entrepreneurs here in the Kingdom of Eswatini, getting insights on business and how to approach leadership within their businesses. But of course, Nyalo, we're getting into collaboration, which is the most important thing, I believe, between private sectors and the government. And you know, earlier on we spoke about skills mismatch.
That's right.
Now, I'm not putting you on the spot, but I believe, you already are. You already are. But I usually kind of want the champion to come with the solution for the questions that I ask. So this one is definitely on you. Between private sector leaders and, you know, collaboration with the government and educational institutions, how can we end the mismatch of skill situations? Because you're not, or the private sectors and the government are not bringing a solution to say, let's change the education so that we have the people that we need. Instead, we're continuing with the very same curriculum. You were talking about lesikfunzawo akusiko lenikufunawo. So what are you trying to do as private sectors? So if you need something, go to the educational space and say, change this, it's not working for us, instead of outsourcing employees.
Yeah, thank you very much. No, you're not putting me on the spot now. I love the question. The way you have framed it, it's good. And I'm about to tell you what we're doing about it. By the way, we always put our money where our mouth is. And when you complain about something, we do something about it. That's our nature as a private sector people. We don't just shout and then do nothing about it. You will have heard and probably have seen our new viable partnership with an organization called ESHAC. So Eswatini higher learning institution. It's a parasector run under the Ministry of Education. They determine who they license in this country. As a university, they take licenses, issue new ones. And it's an amazing organization, and believe it or not, it's a parastatal, owned by government. And the partnership that we have formed now, it involves quite a lot of interaction, frequent interaction between us, institutions that want to come into the country. All of a sudden now we look at the curriculum they offer. They will ask us, is this what the industry needs before we license this institution? If it's nothing that we want to say, no, don't issue the license. They are reviewing the existing licenses to ensure that they offer the skills that we want. You could argue through ESHAC, that's what it's called, ESHAC. It's our way of partnering with our government in trying to address this situation. And we all know that if you leave things up to government to resolve on their own, it's not going to happen. A government needs partners. And the private sector has proved time and time again that we are viable partners on anything. Because we come with the relevant solutions. If we complain about the mismatch, we'll give you the solution, not just only give it to you, and also participate in that solution in the country. So that's what we're doing for now. I don't know how this process will actually expedite the resolution to the whole question. I don't know, but we're on the right track. I believe that.
Thank you so much, Kosi, for that. Also, just knowing that there's something that is being done by Business Eswatini. I think, because this is the last part of last set of our questions. I'm not so sure if it's a question or Business Eswatini asabukete marketing agencies in terms of your membership. I am looking forward to placing that form.
Is that allowed? Did you pay for that marketing spot? She's marketing herself right here in front of the whole nation.
They can invoice me, sir. But yeah, I think
typical entrepreneur. Always taking advantage.
Of course, if you give me a chance, I will sell myself. But yeah, thank you so much for your insights, Ngozi, and everything that you are doing.
Just to also say thank you for your time and for this impactful conversation. I want to close with this question. It's in the financial literacy. As an entrepreneur, it's very important to understand your finances. I got my first invoice at 21 and I went straight to the mall. But luckily enough, I was able to learn from it. But I want you to speak on why is it important for young entrepreneurs to understand financial literacy, how to manage their money, and how to make sure that they are taking care of their business financially.
Okay, that's a very, very important question. I'm glad that you asked, because I don't care how successful you are, if you cannot look after the resources that come your way, you will stay perennially poor. And money usually takes the character of the hand on which it's at. If it's a reckless hand, it lacks custodianship and stewardship. Money will always disappear. I don't care how successful you are. And I will advise you guys listening here, and in fact advise everyone listening to this show, that looking after the resources that come to you, that's where the battle begins. And I want to assume that everybody knows how to calculate the debit and credit and all of that. That's easy to learn. But the attitude that you bring around your spending, it is so important. What is it? There will always, somebody says, you want to know more about me. Please, you want to know how I spend my money. It will reveal the character, where my heart lies, what's important to me. If I can give my expense book, whatever I say, my goodness. So that's what's important to you. That's what it reveals about you. That's why you have to have the right mindset and character before the money comes in, or else it will just disappear. Financial literacy is only the beginning. It's good, it's technical, but it doesn't address the issue of character within you. To say, what's your take once it gets here? Do you want to show off? Do you want to spend lavishly? As if you want to show off. And some guys, be careful for now. Spend wisely. And I tell you, most people, if you do that, that's what makes you become so attractive to a lot of people. That you're watching your pennies and cents, and people say, there's success there. So start there.
I would like to end us off with just asking, you mentioned the partnership that you have with the government in terms of how you're helping entrepreneurs in the country from a skills point of view. But I'd also want to find out, what resources does Business Eswatini have to aid small business owners and to help us grow our businesses?
Okay, first of all, we don't have the resource. Remember, we represent, like I said, over 90% of the private sector. These are companies who are directly involved in that. And we meet with all the CEOs and happen to be aware of each of their policies. And we encourage them when we meet for board meetings. Please create space, not for mentorship, but for resourcing some of the small businesses. In fact, since we're a mixture of big and small, you'll be shocked how many small businesses are in our board meeting. And then I'll connect and ask this big guy, can you assist this one? Start sourcing. Guys, business networking is so important. And when you go to Business Eswatini, it's a beehive of, networking. All of a sudden, somebody walk away and says, I got a deal today. I said, who did you get it from? I got it from Coca-Cola. Really? Wow. This one. That's what happens. Once they meet you, the big guys, and you are honest to yourself and to them, all of a sudden, say, you give me a call. And all of a sudden, the collaboration begins. And in time, you find yourself growing. Just because bigger companies took the time, and we so encourage them, guys. And I want everybody out there to know that the private sector, we encourage them to reach out to the very small businesses and provide the assistance and the business that they need in order to grow as well. And whoever is hearing me out there, please stand here on behalf of BE, encouraging that to happen.
A big thank you to you, sir, for all of the insights that you have shared with us, your knowledge and things that we won't find in the textbook, most importantly. I think it was very beneficial to our participants. If there's anything they'd like to ask, it will definitely be offset right now because in the interest of time, we've run out of time. But thank you so much, sir, for joining us. We're very humbled and honored to have been with you on this table and asked you all of the questions that we asked. It was not only for us, but also for the viewers at home. We get so much feedback in regards to the conversations that we have, and we hope that they'll be very beneficial to the young people of Eswatini. And just lastly, any parting words from you to the young people of Eswatini who are looking to inject into the corporate space and most importantly, into the business space?
Yes, certainly. First of all, I just want to say thanks to you for inviting me, and thanks to the participants who are here. You guys, you are truly gracious to me, and I thank you for that. I wish you can go on and on and on. And I wish you success as you go along. And to the nation, we want to encourage in this program entrepreneurship. We believe it's the way to the future. It's not going to be easy. Everything it's going to be hard. But everything that's good and worthwhile for this country is always hard. But also to call on our partners and indeed the government to start looking strongly at how the policies they can bring about and promulgate to help nurture and grow this new emerging talent we call entrepreneurs. Because we believe that the answer for this country lies in entrepreneurship, that it has to be all over, it has to be pervasive around the country, policies that facilitate those aspirations. And with that parting shot, we thank our government for what they're about to do, and thank you all for what you have been and how you've done it today, this morning, rather. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And thank you to you, Ntokozo and Dumi, Wesizwe and Msuthu for coming through and, just, sharing what you think is beneficial to the young people of Eswatini, and most importantly, also your insights and putting your cards on the table there, Ntokozo. But that is how we end off today's conversation. I hope that it will be beneficial to you at home, and please do touch us up with the feedback on our social media platforms on Eswatini TV. When we post, do look out for that, and catch the show on Eswatini TV, on DSTV channel 286, and of course on YouTube. We're always there. If you want to go and rewatch our previous episodes, you are more than welcome to. But for today, it is good night and God bless.
My key takeaways from today's conversation is that having balance is important between your work and your family, being able to reflect on what's important in your life and use that as a motivation. I also say knowing yourself first before leading other people. You need to lead yourself, so that's very important. And then lastly, I would just say giving yourself time. It's going to be struggles, it's going to be tough moments, but be patient and things get better.
My key takeaways are it's okay to start small and to focus on where you are. I think one of the things that was highlighted that really spoke to me was how we usually just always think of ahead. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, but not just always looking up and looking forward, but looking down to focus on what you're building. And that way, I think that we're more effective. I think that also what stood out for me is the power of collaboration just from the government sector, what also the private sector is doing to just support entrepreneurs in the country.
Thank you so much. It was a perfect session. I learned that as a leader, we need to first lead ourselves, and that is very important. Before you lead other people, you need to lead yourself, and to lead yourself, you need to know yourself. And I think that is my greatest takeaway, to say, for people to follow the vision that I have, I need to know, first of all, myself, and know where I want people to go before I want to know where I want to go before I want other people to join me.
The platform provides an excellent forum for young entrepreneurs to come into a space where they can network and get to meet their mentors, or the champion, which is someone who would be able to advise us when it comes to business ideas and things that we can do to improve in our own businesses. So I think that it was an amazing opportunity to gather and discuss business in our different fields in industry.
And closing off today's very insightful conversation, I hope you heard it all at home, and do continue to join us as we give you the next platform.